It's not a podcast. It's not a podcast. Do it like... Hello. Can I just sit here like do it? Oh look, oh I'm flashing my chest off. There we go. That's better. Look decent. Have some decorum, Mr. Haywood. Have some decorum. I look like a bag of shit. Look at that. I get boob gape. If I sit like that, it's not too bad. I get boob gape. Well, it's Saturday. Last night was Friday, and I was going to do a podcast. No, it's not a podcast. What are you on about? I was going to do it last night, but I didn't. I can't do the shirt up. It annoys me because I get boob gape and I can feel it. I can actually see that, and it ruins my feng shui. So we're just going to have some chest. You see Bear's tattoo? Oh, that's so sad. Look there. That's Bear. So when Bear was dying, Bear was my big German Shepherd. And when he died, it was in the garden, and I got the inky paw pad things, and I pressed his paws onto them, and I took these paw prints, and I took them to my tattooist, and he did that. Brilliant job, absolutely amazing job. Because Bear used to stand on my chest. He'd come over to me, and he had really big droopy lips and big droopy ears, and he'd put his paws there on my chest, and he'd go, so cute. Anyway, so what I was saying was, yesterday was Friday, and I was going to do not a podcast, because it's not a podcast. It's not. So fuck you. It's not a podcast. But I went out and got drunk. So yeah, fuck you. No, I'm joking. No, I'm hungover. Well, I'm not hungover. Well, no, I am. I am hungover a little bit. Because we were having beers. Because I normally drink like Abbott's beer when I go out. But I thought I'd try my friend Paul. He drinks neck oil. It's a lighter, like an IPA. So I tried a glass of that. And we were all hungry. There was me, Paul and Matt, and all ex-police officers. So we all had a meal as well. We had fish and chips. We were all sat outside, and it was very lovely and warm, even though it's October. Global warming. And I had the neck oil pint. God, my eyes look like fucking shit. God, it's so bad. Oh my dear God. So I had a neck oil, and then I was like, no, I don't like this. I'm going to go back to drinking Abbott's ale. But having the neck oil, and then the fish and chips, and then the Abbott's, and my belly just went, what the fuck are you doing? And it was just it wasn't going down very well. And then Matt, being the sophisticated one of the bunch, decided to have some red wine. And in my drunken state, I went, fuck yeah, let's have some red wine. Because I just thought, in my delusional mind, I thought, well, that looks really sophisticated. We could sit there like holding our wine glasses and talk about French poetry. Three fucking stupid ex-retired cops. It wasn't like that at all. They were like big cheap glasses, like filled up with Malbec. Oh, that went down really nicely. They were really lovely. And then we were just talking shit. I can't remember what we talked about. Just shit. That's what you ever talk about, isn't it, when you go out? Colleagues, gossip, stuff. Yeah, that was it really. And then I came home, and then I had some Thai sweet chili crisps with Deli. Deli's on the sofa and giving herself a good clean. I'll see if you can. I don't know if you can see. Can you see Deli there? She's having a little clean on the new. That's the back of the production studio office. That's posh, isn't it? That sounds really far posher than it actually is. But that's her little red sofa. She's very happy. So we had some Thai sweet chili crisps, and then I got up this morning. I was so hungry. Oh my God, I was so hungry this morning. So I went up to the local garden centre, had a big breakfast, and it was very nice. And then I thought, what shall I do today? Because I've been really busy all week. Fictionland is coming out in November the 16th. Getting that up for pre-order. My website's being redeveloped. So that's a lot of work going back and forth trying to sort that out. And I'm working with like a PR company to generate publicity for Fictionland. So they're doing loads of stuff. So that's a lot of emails back and forth, a lot of phone calls. A lot of chats, a lot of discussions. I'm still going to hide behind here so you can't see my drunken hungover face. Yes, it's been nuts. And of course, my personal accounts, I had to get them done for fucking tax. And so I sent them off, but then it always generates like a big bunch of questions. What about this payment? And what about this payment? And what about this payment? You go, oh my God. That's just death by spreadsheet, that is, isn't it? So it's just constant. And I'm trying to write more of the undead. I've had to pause that this week because just normal admin and normal life gets in the way. So I've had to pause that to focus on all the other stuff. And then I did a little video. I don't know if you saw it. I put it out on Instagram. It's like 1.5 minutes long. And it's just a little quick tip on writing books. And it mentions about the creative writing. But don't do a creative writing course. That's it. I forgot. I forgot what I did. It's don't do it. Why you shouldn't do a creative writing course. Don't do a creative writing course. You shouldn't do a creative writing course. Because it's a waste of time and money. And everything you could possibly find out and want is available online for free. For very little cost. And with a little bit of ingenuity and research, you can go and find it for free. So don't do a creative writing course. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, Deli looks so cute. See Deli again. Oh, little Deli. This is when I play it back and I discover that when I'm turning the camera around, all you can see is the floor. And it looks like there's no dog there at all. She's just done a big yawn. But so don't do a creative writing course because it's a waste of time and money, and you can do everything, find out everything for free. And there were 2 books I talked about in that podcast: Creative Writing for Dummies and How to Write Fiction by Joanna Penn, who herself is a New York Times bestselling author. And I picked those books up years ago, and I was quite dubious. I was a non-believer in even those kind of books because everything I did was entirely self-taught. Literally, I read about 1,000 books, and I looked at all of those books, and after a lifetime of reading, I thought, well, I want to become a writer. And when I started writing, I was taking my work and comparing it to best-selling works in lots of different genres, and thinking, well, what are they doing that's good, and what am I not doing that's good? And slowly, bit by bit, you start developing and getting better. And then later, much later, I picked up those books, Creative Writing for Dummies and How to Write Fiction. And they're absolutely brilliant. They're really, really good. And what I love about them, what I love about How to Write Fiction by Joanna, is that she says there's no rules. And there are no rules. There are no rules to writing whatsoever. You can do what the fuck you want. In any capacity. It only ever comes down to what works and what doesn't work. So that was that. And again, I've lost my train of thought completely. So that was my week. Can you hear me, Mr. Microphone? I'm all the way over here now. Wonder how far this chair goes back. And then today, I thought, well, that's what I'm doing now. You see, I'm writing. Not writing. I've got all this rigged up because I'm going to narrate another short story, and this one is called The Ship's Crew. So I wrote this years and years ago. This was written before Extracted. That's how old this is. So this has got to be, 2015-ish, 15-ish. So this is an undead story. It's called The Ship's Crew, and it's about some security operatives, anti-piracy security operatives on board an oil tanker going down the African coast, and they get near to Dar es Salaam when the outbreak hits, and it's about how they resolve and deal with that. But you see, because the one of the main characters is British, so I can do that. So I can narrate like a normal narrating voice, but it's all the voices, and that's hard. And having the quick wit to change voices quickly as you're reading it. I am full of admiration now for people like Carl Precott, who did Extracted and A Town Called Discovery. Joe Jameson does The Undead. Colin Morgan, who does the Code series. And then Gethin Anthony, who's done fiction. And how they bloody do it. God. They just all of a sudden you go, whoa, okay. That's why actors get paid lots of money. It's fucking hard work. It's really difficult. So like, just on this page here, there's I'm having to, what I'm doing is in each line where there's a line of dialogue, I'm putting brackets at the front of the dialogue who it is talking in the accent. So this is Berkowitz, who was a US Marine. So at the front of it, I've put US to mark it as Berkowitz. So then trying to get his voice right. So then I'm trying to do it kind of deep and American. Sammy, where the fuck are you? But it sounds so fake. Do you know what I mean? It sounds fucking eyes. Beady little bloodshot eyes. It sounds so fake. I was nailing it a minute ago. Try again. Sammy, where the fuck are you? Berkowitz muttered, checking his rifle and magazines. He pulled the phone from his pocket and cursed at the empty signal bar. We're getting lots of attention here, Jones yelled from his position at the rear, and the increasing sound of gunfire and ricochets bouncing all around them. We'll have to leg it, Max said with a grimace. We'll be sitting ducks out there, man, the engineer shouted back in alarm. That just sounds wankish. Do you know what I mean? Because he's meant to be South African. So it's a lot harder than it looks. And I'm hungover. Because Matt made me drink red wine. And I had a full English breakfast. And I don't normally eat things like that. Not very often. But now I do. That's a fucking lie. I take the piss. I don't eat beef. I don't eat beef. And I don't eat lamb. Oh fuck, I'm lying about that as well. So I've got like an assistant that comes in and helps me, and she made me a lovely chilli with beef at home and brought me a pot of it in, and I ate that. So I'm just a fucking liar. I'm not a vegetarian at all. I eat loads of chicken and turkey, and I eat lots of fish, but I generally avoid beef and lamb. I don't eat a lot of pork, and I have no idea why I'm telling you that. So there we go. And it's a beautiful day. It's gorgeous. It's October and it's like mid-20s degrees. Oh, I've got rats. Oh my god, my rat population has just gone insane. I don't know if I've talked about my rats before. Have I talked about my rats before? Fuck me. It's just turned into a whole thing, the rat thing. So I've lived here. So this is a big. I'm upstairs at the moment. This is a big old Victorian house. It's got like 5 double bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, and it's just constant renovations. Do you remember that film, The Money Pit, with Tom Hanks? It's like that. Just fucking Jesus. So I was living downstairs for years, and I bought the flat upstairs, and then converted it back into one house, like it used to be. And it's beautiful. It's got some beautiful features, and But downstairs was relatively modernised, but upstairs hadn't been touched for like, decades. And had an electrician come out when I first bought upstairs, and we were looking at taking out the dividing wall between the 2 properties, turn it back into one house. And the electrician did an assessment of the electrics up here, and he said, if you'd have touched a live wire, there's nothing's going to cut out. There's nothing. There's just going to go until you burst into flames. So shit, that's bad. And there were people living up here, then it was being rented out, and the landlady was lying on the certificates year after year. And you think, how can you do that? And it was being reported to the Isle of Wight Council. And they didn't give a shit. They just didn't care. They never came out. They didn't do anything. The fuse board was incredibly dangerous. The windows were all rotten and falling out. There were kids living up here that were getting sick every winter from the mould that was growing because of the condensation. There was no insulation in the loft, and there was no adequate heating. The poor family that were living up here, they were all huddled together in one room during the winter because it was so bitterly cold, and they had thick curtains up. It was like, I remember coming up here once because he said, come and have a look how bad it is. And it was like stepping back into like the Victorian era. It was shocking. And that all got fed back to the housing people and the council people, and the people that are meant to be in charge of like things like EPC registers, the energy performance certificates, and the fact that you're meant to have annual safety checks on electrics and so on. There was no gas up here at that point. I put gas in since. No one cared. Nobody fucking cared. Nobody did a bloody thing for those poor people. And then I bought this upstairs, And then some busybody in the street reported me to the council saying it was a change of use from 2 flats into 1 house. The council turned up at my door to serve me a notice to say you've got to stop doing the work until you've applied. No, we must inform you that you must stop doing the work until you've applied for planning consent. And I said, what do you mean? So I've got to stop the work? No. We must inform you that you've got to stop doing the work. I was going, well, does that mean I have to actually stop doing the work, or just that you've got to inform me? No. We must inform you. And that's all it was. It was just a ridiculous... That took days to work out. I didn't have to stop doing the work at all. It just meant that they were duty bound to inform me that I should stop doing the work until I apply for planning consent. But the guy that came out, he was ultra pedantic. I just had outside. I just had the whole garden redone with a patio. You know those little bricks that are kind of at angles. Gorgeous, and the guys that did it worked super hard, and it looked beautiful. And there was an inspection drain like 3 meters away, and this pedantic guy from the council that came round to say that you can't do it because it's change of use. He started walking around and said, "You need to put a drainage inspection ditch thing in here," and he's pointing to a part where a pipe comes down. And I said, "Well, it connects. There's one there, like 3 meters away." He went, "No, I want one here." I mean, we've just had the whole patio done, so I don't care. I want one right here. And there was me and the plumber that was doing my bathroom, an electrician was in. All of us were stood there going, "Why? What? You're going to have 2 inspection drainage points like meters away?" He's going, "Yes, that's what I want you to do." And there was some other guy there who was much older who was doing some work in the house, and he stood behind all of us with his behind this council inspector guy, and he's going, "Don't wind him up." And he's going, "If you piss off the Isle of Wight council planning people, they'll make your life hell." You go, "What the fuck?" We're in like a fucking third world country. This is like trying to build a house in Italy in the 90s or something like that, when you're just drowning in petty bureaucracy. And I bit in the end. I said to this guy, "Where the I didn't swear at him. I didn't. Honestly, I didn't. Because when I get proper... I know I swear all the time. But when I get like quite cross, I switch back into kind of policey mode, so I don't swear. I said to him, "Where were you when the family were upstairs and the kids were getting sick and there was dangerous electrics and rotten windows and inadequate heating and people were lying about their energy certifications and all sorts of stuff?" And he just couldn't answer. He got really defensive. Really defensive. So I've made a rod for my back. But rats. Ah, God. So there was always a little family of rats living in the garden when I had it as a flat downstairs. And I'm not bothered by rats at all. They don't bother me one little bit. And the pest control companies, I think that there might be a little bit of a thing where pest control companies inflate the dangers that rats pose in order for everyone to go, "Oh my God, there's a rat. Call the pest control companies out and get them killed." Because we all live around rats. Rats are around us all the time, and they're not as dangerous as we think they are. I mean, people aren't dying daily from rats. That's not happening. We'd know about that, wouldn't we? They pose a danger to small pets. Chickens, maybe. They pose a danger to chickens. And they'll eat, like, if you're on a farm, they'll eat produce and get in stores and stuff like that. And you wouldn't want to get bitten by one if you're young or old or anything like that. But I've never known anyone to get bitten by a wild rat. And Anyway, the point is, so there were always a couple of rats living in the garden. It didn't bother me. They live in the garden, and I put loads of bird feed out. I have two giant herring gulls that come for breakfast and supper, and there's several breeding pairs of magpies that come in, and loads of crows and rooks, pigeons, hundreds of pigeons and doves and sparrows and tits and finches and all kinds of things, and blackbirds. So I love it. My garden's really good. It's a town centre, but there's loads and loads of birds. I put loads of bird feed out, but unfortunately the rats get loads and loads. But there was always foxes, and there was always a cat, and the foxes and the cat kept the rat population down. But then one day I walked out of my garden, startled the cat ran out to the road, got run over. It was still alive. I ran out and picked it up, took it to the vets. The vet operated on its stomach, and it was fine. The cat lived, and it was reunited with the owner, and everything was fine. But the owner said the cat can't go back out. And just one cat not being able to hunt rats, my rat population just went doing. Oh my fucking god! It just within, oh dear god, it just went. And I think rats can like reproduce in like 21 days. And one female rat in a year, something like that, they can have like 100 babies, and then each one of those babies can then reproduce within something like 4 weeks or months or something from when they're born. So just the rat population just goes boom, 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 and it just all of a sudden, I was really busy with work and crazy, all running around all the time, and I'm kind of in the back of my mind thinking, is there more rats? And I walked out, and I was putting bird feed out, and I'm looking around going, oh, it's like some of a horror film, and there was like 30 rats staring at me going, is he put the food out yet? I go, oh my fucking god, shit. That's too many. And then my neighbours were my neighbour next door. They apparently they started seeing him in the front garden, and they were just everywhere. And then everyone in the street was calling me the rat man, and they were all saying that they were getting rats because I had rats. But then during COVID, I found this out. When all the restaurants and schools and those places shut, the rats in the town centres and those places all pushed out into the suburbs because they couldn't. Their food source was disrupted, so they came out into the suburbs. So now the suburbs are far worse with rats than they were before. So I ended up with lots of rats. But then I got the rat man out, and he said he'd put rat poison down. And I was like, okay, is that like instant? Does it kill them instantly? And he went, no, it takes 4 days. I was like, oh, okay. And then I realised that I'd seen rats before acting drunk, and I realised that must mean that they were the ones that were poisoned. And he said, yeah, that's what happens, is the rat starts getting sick for 4 days, and because it apparently like liquidizes their insides, it causes them this absolute fucking agony for like 4 days. It's so bad. I'm like, that's really cruel. And even if you go on, I was going on, I'm sure it was like the RSPCA websites, places like that, and they're saying we don't advocate, we say don't use poison because it's so cruel. I'm like, oh, I can't put poison down. No, I'm not putting poison down then. No, I'm not doing that. That's wrong. And he said that there used to be a poison that was instant death to the rats, but when we joined the EU, they said we had to use this other poison. I'm not saying that because of Brexit or pro or anti-Brexit. I'm not. I'm just saying that's what he told me. And they brought this other poison out. Takes longer to take effect. And apparently it poisons the rat, and the rat starts feeling very, very sick. So it goes away from its home, and that was to prevent rats dying in the house and stinking the house out with dead rat for weeks on end. And then you get blue bottles and flies and all that, maggots and stuff like that. But I was like, I can't do that. I've got a family of foxes living over the back of my house, and they have cubs. And if I kill rats with poison and the fox cubs come along and eat the rats, then the foxes will get the poison. I'm like, no, I won't do that. So we put snappy traps down. We killed some babies, but they very quickly learned to avoid it. You don't really kill big rats with snappy traps. They're too smart. They're too wise. Rats are intelligent. And all this time that's going on, I'm watching the rats in my garden and just realising how social they are, how intelligent, how playful. And there were two rat families, one at one end of the garden, one at the other end of the garden. There was like a demarcation zone. It was like North Korea and South Korea. There was like a line of a patio where I exercised, and the West End rats and the East End rats wouldn't cross over, and they wouldn't go into each other's stuff. It was really weird because there was 2 different feeding points for the birds, and they were incredible. And I used to watch baby rats run along, and they'd go underneath. So the baby rat would go underneath the mum rat and would walk underneath, and then the mum rat would raise up on like higher on her legs, and then she'd walk along with the baby rat underneath them, and you could see they're playing because they're kind of bumping heads and bumping bodies, and it's just play, exactly the same. Because I've bred dogs with puppies, and watching them play was exactly the same as watching kittens play, or puppies, or baby goats, or baby pigs, and it was just, oh god, it was lovely. It was so nice. And I just thought they're just so good. They've got these big fat bums, haven't they? I know most people find them gross. And they're not black rats, before anyone says anything. Black rats were the ones that carried the plague. Black rats are still really very rare in this country. You don't get them in towns. You might still get them in farms and stuff. But they're the ones that carry the really super deadly plague diseases. But apparently the plague is treated with antibiotics now. Isn't that nuts? But so these are brown rats, and they're really cute. And they learnt the noise of the lock on the bird feed shed. So that'd go clunk, and all of a sudden all these little faces would pop out from all the little places. Like, he's getting the bird food, he's getting the bird food. And then I'd come along with the plastic bucket full of bird food, and then the scoop goes in, and as that comes out, their heads are all emerging from different places. And it sounds horrible. It wasn't. It was really cute. It was really lovely. But the numbers just kept going up and up and up. And then they got in the house, because it's an old house, there's loads of entry points. They dig tunnels, they find ways in, and then because it's cavity walls, the walls are like this wide, so there's a big gap between the walls. And you wouldn't put insulation in an old house like this, because it would cavity wall insulation, it would cause more damage than it would help with heat retention. So they've just got free rein through the fucking walls, and then they're in the loft, and then they're under the floors. And I'm going to bed, and I'm lying in bed, and as soon as I turn the light off, all I can hear is this explosion of rat noise. It's like the fucking alphas. It's nuts. And it's just like parties and disco. And you'd hear them go running from one end of the house to the other, and they'd have rat fights, it's squeaking and brawls and football matches and bottles clinking and music and glitter balls and little rat orgies. Oh my god, it was insane. I was like, okay, I need to grip this. So then I went I researched it, and I thought, if I can't use poison, what do I do? And it said, you've got to shoot them. I was like, oh, fucking hell, that's a bit extreme. I was like, oh god. So I went into my local town, Newport. There's a gunsmith there. Honestly, I walked in. Oh god, it was horrible initially. Because I walked in, there was a guy. I'm not joking. He had tattoos. I'm covered in tattoos. Look, I'm covered in them. But he had the wrong kind of tattoos, all up his neck, all up the side of his head, and he had a little kid with him. And it was one of those blisteringly hot days, and he was just wearing like shorts and like a muscle vest thing, with all his body was covered in tattoos. And he's with this little kid, and they're looking at all the big dangerous knives, and like, I just thought, oh god, this is the wrong. I don't want to be in this environment. So I said to the gunsmith, hi, I've got rats, apparently this is the place to go for rats. And then tattooed guys trying to make shit jokes about, get a fucking 12 ball. Yeah, fucking what? Get a 12 ball. What? And he was trying to tell me to get a shotgun. And I'm like, oh, no, dear God, just, oh. So then the man behind the gun man behind the counter, he was like, yes, you need this. And he gives me his air rifle. And he said, that's what you use to shoot the rats. I was like, okay, do I need a scope? I don't know. I don't know anything about this. And then him and the tattooed man were like, scope? Need a scope? Like it was the most ridiculous fucking question I asked in the world. Like I'm trying to be some kind of US SEAL Team 6 Marine sniper or something. And apparently you can't use a scope, because if you use a scope, you think you're looking at it, and actually it magnifies it so much that your aim's going all over the place. And he said, how far away are you shooting them? I went, well, I can actually get within touching distance of the rats now. I have actually done that. Don't fucking tell anyone. I was in the garden, and I don't judge me. And because I think rats are really cute, and I put the bird feed out, and I turned away, and I looked back, and there was a rat come running on the top of the fence, this 5-foot fence that's this high, and he's turned around, he's got his back to me like this, and he's eating away. So he's sat there on a hunch, and he's picking up, because I put sunflower hearts and peanuts out, and he's sat there eating peanuts, and he's going nom 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 like that. And I'm behind him thinking, oh, he's like, we're like this far apart from each other, and I don't know why I did it, because it's a wild rat, and everyone says they're full of diseases and you shouldn't touch them and you shouldn't ever go near them. But he just had this big fat rat bum, and I just kind of went dunk, and I poked his big fat rat bum, expecting him to go meh and run off, but he didn't. He just sat there holding a peanut, and he went like that. And he's holding the fucking peanut in his hand, and he's looking at me going, did you just touch my bum? I go, no. And he's it was like a little rat Me Too moment. It's a Do you have to do that for me to eat this nut? I said, I don't mind. I mean, if that's what it takes. Anyway, I can't believe I just fucking said that. He didn't run off. So where was I? I bought an air rifle, and everyone mocked me because I said, "Do you have a scope or something?" And as I was walking out, there was another guy like me walking in, like the same way I must have walked in, thinking, "This is a fucking horrible alien environment. I don't want to be in here." And he's walked in. He went, "Hello, do you have anything for rats?" And again, I could hear the same guy go, "Get a 12 ball." Fuck it. I think he just sits in there making the 12 ball joke with his poor little kid looking at knives. Go, oh, fucking disaster. So then I had an air rifle and I came home and I was like, I didn't want to do it. I don't want to kill anything. I can't even eat beef and lamb and stuff like that. Apart from the chili I had the other day. Because I like animals, I don't want to eat them. I was like, but I kind of justified it in my head thinking, we can't coexist at the levels they are because there's so many of them, the destruction they're causing, and with the sheer quantity of them, they do carry diseases. And if there's just a few of them, the possibility of them causing disease is minimal. But with so many, all of a sudden the increase is, the risk is a lot higher. I was like, okay, got to justify it. And it's better this way than putting poison down, because if I can shoot them properly, it'll be a quick, clean death rather than a poison death. And oh god, I remember I put the rat food, I put the bird feed out, I got the pellet. It was a 2.2 air rifle, and I laid down, and then the rats came out. God, it was just horrible. Oh, it was horrible. And I just felt sick at the thought of it. And it was a big rat, and it was a big grown-up rat. I still can't now. Even now, I've shot about 50 probably. Even now, still can't shoot a baby rat. So I shot it, and I killed it straight away. First shot. I was like, oh god, wow, okay. So that's a good thing. It's not a nice thing to do, but at least it died instantly rather than 4 days of agony with poison. And the other thing as well is I could put that rat on the shed for the fox to eat. So it's like the circle of life. The fox can eat that because it's not full of poison. I guess it might have a little pellet in it. But then I discovered the next one I shot, the pellet went straight through and the rat ran off. I hit it. I definitely hit it because the rat moved with the motion of the pellet. It went like that and then ran off. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh my god, I've winged it. It was a through and through. I was like, shit. And I was trying to chase it and it got away. I was like, oh my god, I thought, was it broken its leg or if it dies slowly? And that happened a few times. And so that made me think, really slow down. I think, okay, I need to get a good aim here. So it's got to be a headshot. You've got to hit the skull. And that just slows you down. And all of a sudden you think, God, this is actually quite technically hard to do. And it happened a few times. And I phoned the fucking idiot up in the gun shop. I went, mate, I'm not, it's going to sound really stupid. I don't mean to sound like a dick. But the pellets aren't killing them. They're going through. And he went, well, yeah, you need rat pellets. I went, okay. What part of me saying I need to fucking kill rats confused you when I bought the air rifle? He said, well, you didn't say that you needed rat pellets. You're fucking... Okay. Should I come back then and buy the rat pellets? And he went, yeah, come back and buy the rat pellets. So I went back. I'm not lying. This is the Isle of Wight. It's like 10 miles away. Got my car, drove all the way there, and trying to drive anywhere on the Isle of Wight takes forever. And I get there, and you can't even park near the shop. Why could you? This is the UK. They don't allow people to park cars in town centres because they want everyone to buy everything off Amazon. And I finally get into the gun shop, and 12-bore man's gone, but there's a whole queue of fucking middle-aged men going out the door going, have you got anything for rats? and I walked in and went, hi, I'm terribly sorry. I phoned you. I need to get the rat pellets. He went, oh yeah, we're out of stock. Fucking dick. So I went home, ordered some rat pellets, and they're just 2.2 pellets, but with like a flatter, because the other ones are like pointy, bullety things. I don't know. And the rat pellet ones have got flatter head, which slows it down, causes more damage. It's all very horrific, but it gives a cleaner death. And it does work. So then I was like a Clint Eastwood sharpshooter. killing rats, and it was bloody horrible, but it had to be done, so I got the numbers right down. Then I noticed the cat was back out, he got a few. Foxy cubs, because I protected them from the poison, the foxy cubs started hunting, so then it was a combined flanking pincer movement between me with the air rifle and the black and white cat with his bad stomach after he got run over, a couple of trainee fox cubs, mummy fox cub, who would rather eat the food out of the bowl that I put out for them every night. But we were doing it. I have a little wildlife tracking cam, so I put them out of the night. So we were all doing it. It was a proper combined effort. My two giant German shepherds, however, didn't give a shit. Krusty used to kill rats. He did. He's savage, but he's too slow now. And Deli just wants to play with everything. She's not predatory like that. So we got the numbers right down. I was like, oh, thank God. But then you see, I made the mistake and I stopped. And it went back down to like 8. No, it was less than that. There was like 3 or 4 left. And I was like thinking in my head, okay, that's back to how it used to be. They'll just live in the garden and it's fine. And then a few weeks later, I kept hearing these squeaks sounding all around the house, in the floorboards, in the walls, and in the ceiling. Pardon me. And it was the baby rat. I'm like, oh shit, no. And there must have been 4 or 5 different nests all at the same time, and all of a sudden the young have all come out at the same time, and then suddenly it's back up to like 50, 60. And I'll go, oh shit. You just can't. I just can't keep on top of it, and I can't shoot them enough. And when you shoot one, the others will see that one's just been shot. Something's just happened to a rat, so they all run and hide for like 4 hours. So then you can't get another shot in for a good 3 or 4 hours. And with 50 or 60 rats, you don't have the time to do it. And all that time, they're eating your walls, your ceilings. They're going to go through pipes and wires, and can't do it. You know, I felt dreadful. I felt absolutely terrible. So I had to phone the rat people up, and we got to put poison down. And I fucking hate it. I'm hating it. And it's about now that the poison will start kicking in, and they'll start dying slowly. I don't want to. Not nice. Not nice. And I have no idea what I was talking about that. Why we got on the subject of that. Houses. What were we talking about? Council inspectors, houses, old house. Oh God, I don't know. Why was I drinking red wine? I've got so much work to do. So I'm going to narrate the ship's crew. I'm going to put that out on YouTube for free. And was I saying about, I made a little video, didn't I, about don't do a creative writing course. And I put that out on Instagram and Facebook Reels, and it did alright. Then I put it on TikTok. First time I've ever used TikTok, and I got really strong response from TikTok. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I've made a load more of those little tips. Each one's about a minute long, just little hints and tips about creative writing. So I've been making those over the last few days, and I'll start putting them out soon. That's quite good fun. It's a bit of a different creative outlet. It's hard to do though, and again, it's like narrating. There's a completely different skill set. And because I know the subject material really well. Obviously, we're talking about things like how to get your book made into audio, scene transitions, or transitions between main scenes, how to move the characters between main scenes, hints and tips on writing sex scenes so you don't end up using smutty, dirty words, but there's different ways of doing it because you can focus on the emotional reactions. And there's a whole wide range of like topics just to quickly talk about things like cover art, editing. And the first rule of the self-edit, if you write something that's over 100k words, you've got to go back and take at least 10,000 words out. So there's lots of little things like that are really good little tips for people when they're just starting out. And I know I know the subject material really, really well. Oh, that's so nice and cold. But then the second I hit record on here, and I'm looking at it, I just fucking just goes out my head. I've got no idea what I'm meant to be saying. I'm like, and it's like, so the first ones are like, it's like 30 takes. And yeah. So each one starts over saying, hello, I'm RR Haywood, and I'm here with another quick tip. And after that, it just goes to shit. it's just blah. It's just not bloody working. Nothing comes out properly. But the more you do of anything, the better it gets. So I did loads and loads and loads and loads. And my assistant lady was here. She was helping. So we've got loads done. So we'll start putting them out soon, and hopefully they'll give some people some help about creative writing, because there's so much misinformation out there and so much shit advice. And I'm in a strong position because I've had millions and millions of downloads, and most of it's done through my own efforts of self-publishing and self-editing, and you know, I haven't just relied on agents and publishers to do everything for me. I'm always at the forefront of doing everything myself. So I arrange my own audio, I arrange my own covers, I arrange my own editing. Even when I'm working with a publisher now, my book still goes to my editors first, before we go to the publisher. Because I want to get the book how I want it before it goes to the publisher. So hopefully that then lessens the risk of a publisher then going, well, I want changes. Because if we can present the book as already edited, then, and it's a polished project, they're more likely to take it as it is. But that, you couldn't just do that. I wouldn't dream of doing that as a new author. That takes time to be able to build up to do that. So there's loads of little hints and tips and stuff like that that I thought might help people just to get them going. And there's no rules to anything. That's the biggest take from it all. There's no rules to it all. It's just hints and tips. And it's just little things like always write on a computer and use Microsoft Word or an equivalent. Because lots of people say, lots of people will say things like, I want to write by hand. Like, well, you can do anything you want, but it's just harder at the end. Because how are you gonna send that to anybody? We're gonna fucking photocopy it. So you're gonna post it. People don't want that anymore. They want electronic stuff. And it's even little things like agents and publishers and all those people. They get picky. They're really pedantic. They're really pedantic people. And they want every document presented to them in Times New Roman using font 12 with double spacing. And initially, my instinct is to go, fuck you! I do what I want, don't tell me what to do. But in the end, you just go, it just makes life easier if you just conform to that. So those are rules that are just stupid. And there's no reason why they're there other than it's just uniformity. But that, in my eyes, that's not the rule to pick a fight with. Because it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. So, okay, fine, use Microsoft Word and or equivalent. I'll write, this I'm writing now is Times New Roman, font size 11. So it might be font size 11 actually rather than 12. Double spacing, it's uniform, it's what everybody works under. And you keep the rule breaking to the things that you care about. So things like perspectives, I switch first, third, present, past. All the time, editors get their knickers in a twist about it. I'm like, fuck you! And then so that's the thing to pick a fight about, not the other stuff. So it's little hints and tips about make your life easier to do it that way. Anyway, I'm going to go and continue to try and learn how to narrate a story with lots of different voices. And I think I might have a cup of tea because I'm still a bit hungover. I don't want coffee. I normally drink coffee all day, but I don't want coffee today. So that's it from me, really. And I've got to put out more YouTube videos as well, because some of the topics I want to talk about are too long to do in little 1-minute videos. So little things. I mean, like for instance, people say the biggest question I get asked is, should I publish or self-publish? You can't cover that in a 1.5-minute video on TikTok or Instagram. It's such a massive subject. And it's so subjective, and it comes down to the marketability of the book and what you want out of it. So that's such a massive topic that couldn't be done on a short video. And there's quite a few like that need longer discussions. So I'll do a few more of those, and then I'm going to get back to writing The Undead. Hopefully the website will be done soon. And Fiction Land I think is up for pre-order already. But I haven't linked it yet because I need to get it out and do other formatty stuff. So it's very busy. It's very, very busy. Do you like your cheese, Ray? Oh, I can't do that. Oh, not that voice today. Anyway, well, I hope you have a lovely weekend in our global warming, climate change, hot October when it should be cold and wet. I don't know. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. Much love. Bye-bye.